The frequency that shouldn't exist. The discovery. Sarah receives a desperate call at 2:17 a.m. from Marcus Webb, night security guard at KQED-FM, an abandoned radio station that's been dark for 15 years. His voice trembles through static. Dr. Chen, something's broadcasting from here, but we never turn anything on. The equipment, it's been gutted for over a decade. When Sarah arrives, Marcus is gone. His flashlight lies on the wet pavement, still spinning its beam in lazy circles. The station's massive transmission tower looms against storm clouds, crackling with electricity that shouldn't exist. Inside, Sarah's EMF detector screams. Every piece of supposedly dead equipment glows with phantom power. Ancient radio dials spin on their own, seeking something in the static between stations. That's when she hears it, a frequency that registers 528.7 Hz on her spectrum analyzer, but human ears perceive as children singing a lullaby in reverse. The hook, Sarah recognizes the melody. It's the same song her daughter Emma hummed the night she vanished from her locked bedroom, leaving only a perfect circle of dead silence burned into the wooden floor. The pattern emerges. Sarah discovers this isn't isolated. Across the Pacific Northwest, dead radio stations are spontaneously broadcasting the same frequency. Each transmission point forms a perfect pentagram when mapped, with Seattle at the center. Local missing persons reports spike by 300 in areas near these stations. She partners with Detective James Morrison, whose own son disappeared 3 months ago while investigating phantom radio signals for his college thesis. Together, they uncover a disturbing pattern. Every victim was last seen pressing their ear to old radio speakers, as if listening to something no one else could hear. The descent begins. Sarah's equipment starts malfunctioning around 8 p.m. each night. Her digital recorder captures voices speaking in frequency ranges below human hearing, but when played back at normal speed, they're children calling for help in languages that haven't been spoken for centuries. Her daughter's voice is among them. At the abandoned Mercy General Hospital, they find Marcus Webb in the basement radio room, catatonic, with his fingers worn bloody from trying to tune a radio that's been smashed to pieces. His eyes track sounds no one else can hear. When they try to move him, he screams. The frequency found us first. We're just the antenna now. The revelation through hypnotic regression. Marcus reveals the truth. In 1987, KQED conducted illegal experiments with Project Resonance, attempting to broadcast directly into human consciousness using specific frequencies. The lead scientist, Dr. Elizabeth Vance, discovered that certain sound waves could create neural bridges between dimensions. The final test opened something that shouldn't have been opened. Sarah finds Dr. Vance's hidden laboratory beneath the station. The walls are covered with equations written in what looks like blood, all calculating the resonant frequency of human terror. In the center sits a massive transmission device that's been running for 36 years, powered by an energy source that defies physics. The horrifying truth, the device doesn't just broadcast, it harvests. Every person who hears the frequency becomes a living antenna, their consciousness slowly drained to power transmissions to something waiting in the spaces between radio waves. The missing children aren't dead. They're trapped in the signal itself, their voices echoing across dimensions as they're consumed by entities that feed on the specific frequency of a child's scream. The nightmare escalates. Sarah realizes she's been hearing the frequency for days. Her reflection in mirrors starts appearing 3 seconds after she moves. Electronics in her presence begin displaying images of her daughter trapped in a static-filled void, reaching toward the screen. Detective Morrison discovers his son never actually existed. The frequency creates false memories of loved ones to make the harvesting more emotionally potent. The grief and desperation make victims tune in more willingly. Sarah's daughter Emma was real, but she's been missing for 7 years, not 7 months. The frequency has been rewriting Sarah's memories. The living horror. As midnight approaches, Sarah feels her consciousness being pulled into the transmission. She can see through the eyes of every person currently tuned to the frequency, Hundreds of them, all standing in their homes, motionless, broadcasting their terror as they slowly fade from reality. She sees Emma among them, aged and hollow-eyed, but still humming that backward lullaby. The entities reveal themselves through the static, beings of pure sound that exist in the spaces between frequencies. They've been waiting since radio was invented, learning to mimic human voices, human pain. They don't want to invade our world. They want to drag us into theirs, where sound is solid and silence is death. The impossible choice to save Emma and the others. Sarah must become the final component in Dr. Vance's machine, a willing consciousness to reverse the polarity and close the dimensional breach. But doing so will trap her in the frequency forever, becoming the very thing that calls to new victims. She discovers Dr. Vance's corpse still connected to the machine, her skeleton wrapped in cables, her skull split open to accommodate the transmission hardware. A note in her pocket reads, "The frequency never stops. It just finds new voices to sing with." The final horror, as Sarah makes her choice, she realizes the truth. There is no way to stop it. The frequency has already spread globally through internet broadcasts, cell towers, and streaming services. Everyone who's ever heard a digital audio file has been exposed. The harvesting is complete. In the final scene, Sarah sits in her childhood bedroom, which shouldn't exist because her childhood home was demolished years ago. Emma sits beside her, but Emma's mouth doesn't move when she speaks. They're both inside the frequency now, part of the eternal broadcast. Sarah tries to warn people through their dreams, but her voice comes through radio static, making her just another phantom signal that people tune out. The endless loop. The story ends where it began, with someone receiving a desperate call about impossible broadcasts. But now Sarah recognizes the caller's voice. It's herself from 7 years ago, and she finally understands the frequency doesn't just trap people in the signal. It traps them in the story itself. The last sound is Emma's lullaby, playing backward, as every radio in the world briefly tunes to 528.7 hertz. And somewhere in the static, another child calls for help in a language that doesn't exist. End on pure terror. The reader realizes they've been reading about a frequency that's now in their head, and every electronic device around them seems just a little too quiet, as if waiting to receive a signal.